Hey folks, I'm back, Jimmy P. Well, hey, it's been a while since I've done a video, but I think this is a really important one. I've learned something that I wanted to share about lighting the wood stove, and I think this is gonna be really helpful. I did do a video, and I think that was one method of lighting the wood stove, just by positioning the wood correctly. But I also think that there's something else that can really help to light the wood stove with really first shot and no struggle at all. And it's basically using the firewood we have to create kindling. Let me show you. So a lot of pieces that we bring in have this type of kindling on it, and if you look at these pieces here, you can just break these off. So what I've been doing this season is trying something new, and I've been cutting these pieces off, and I have a little ceramic pot here that I put this in, and just put all the kindling in there and have it, instead of having to save the kindling all year, just take it right from the wood I have. And just like I mentioned last time, positioning the wood with making sure that there's air underneath it. So I kind of put one part of it in the corner, and that way it doesn't fall over. The other part is up here in the front, in that little metal piece where the air comes out, just to hold it up. And underneath that, there's a nice air layer, so that way air can go underneath and really light this. So then once I put this piece on, I'll take a piece of newspaper, and the nice thing about this is literally every time it's 2 pieces of newspaper, and that's it. With 2 pieces of newspaper, I've been lighting it 100% of the time. So I'll put one piece here, and then I'll get another piece. Let's get one of these. Another piece here. You don't want to crumble it too tight, right? Leave some air in between when you crumble it. And then I'll take my kindling that I've just been taking off of the wood, and I'll put it on top of the newspaper. And I try to put a couple, like this piece here is a little bit thicker and bigger, but it still burns really easily. And I'll put that on top of the newspaper. And then I'll take some of these pieces, put them on top of the newspaper as well, some of the thinner pieces that burn a lot easier, and put a nice mix there. And it doesn't need a ton. Let's just put this here. And I think with that there, we should be pretty good. So it doesn't need a lot. What it needs, though, is enough kindling to stay lit to light the firewood. So, and the goal, of course, like I mentioned in other videos, is to make sure you have decently dry firewood. If it's moist, still, even with this method, it'll still be a challenge to light it. But as you can tell, I'm just peeling off some more kindling for the next time. So every time I'm putting wood in, any kindling that's left, I'll take it off and just throw it in my little bucket there and have it ready to go for the next time. And then I'll take another piece and put it perpendicular to the piece that's in there. Take one more piece here, if there's any kindling on it, which there is. Take advantage for next time. So I'm always, every time I'm putting a piece of wood in, I'm inspecting it, taking that little bit of kindling off, and that's to light my fire the next time. So if you notice before I light it, that I have the 2 pieces perpendicular, and I left about an inch in between them, and that inch in between just helps the fire to be able to burn up inside. Again, the more air that you have coming in, like I mentioned, there's air underneath the bottom piece. The newspaper is not really tight, so that's got air in it. And then these pieces here, there's air under here as well as between them. And that really creates a really nice flow. So let's light it and see what happens. Usually light it in a couple of places there, just to get it, 2 or 3 places, just to get it burning quicker. But right away you can see the kindling has already caught. But the kindling gives a longer burn than the newspaper. What I found with the newspaper is I had to put a lot of newspaper, and the newspaper didn't last as long. So then I had to keep putting more newspaper underneath to continue to feed the initial fire. And it was wasteful of newspaper, and also it just took more time. So I'd rather find easier ways to do things where it could be one shot. So literally with 2 pieces of newspaper, it's never failed. And it lights every time. So let's see what happens here. Now this was lit last night, and it already has a pretty good flow up the flue. So you can tell no smoke is coming in because this has already been primed from yesterday. There's still, it's not hot, but it definitely has a flow going through. So you can see we've got a pretty good fire going. Now I'll leave the door open initially, usually not this much. I might just, if I'm afraid of smoke coming in, which it's not, but I might just leave it like that. And just enough to let the air in, but keep the smoke inside. And then what will happen here is this, you can see the kindling has caught really nicely. The newspaper's all burnt out. So the newspaper's not helping anymore, but the kindling is doing the work right now of lighting these logs that we need lit here. So you can see it's lit pretty nicely, but at this point, if it was just newspaper, it would probably go out because it didn't. The firewood that's in there hasn't caught enough yet because those are big pieces, and with the kindling, it's just allowing it to burn longer and give it enough energy to be able to burn here and pretty much last for the rest of the day, because then I'll keep feeding it wood for the rest of the day. So you can see we got a nice fire going. Never fails. 2 pieces of newspaper, right? And then with the kindling on top, and then the wood perpendicular to it. Really nice flow of air through this whole. Oh, and by the way, really important. I didn't mention to make sure that your air intake, is open all the way, right, in the beginning. When the door's open, it doesn't matter, right, because the air is coming through the door. But once I close this door, it's really important that the air intake is open all the way initially, at least until the logs are caught really good. Then I'll lower it. I'll go about halfway. I usually look at my temperature gauge too. When the temperature goes into the mid-white area and it's in the middle of it, then I'll put it about halfway, and then that way the wood doesn't burn as fast, and you don't have you don't have to use as much wood. But you also the wood stove now has done its job. So I hope that's helpful. I'd love to hear your comments and hear how this has helped you, and looking forward to seeing you the next time. Folks, one other tip I wanted to share is when this is first lighting, and we have our initial log that we spoke about, we have our 2 perpendicular logs. By now, the newspaper's long gone. Some of the kindling's gone. There's a couple of pieces lingering there. I may throw in a couple of more of these longer pieces of kindling in here just to feed it. The reason is there's a big space in there. You can see kind of a triangle in there. And that doesn't have enough hot coals to really burn. You know, when you have those hot coals and you put your logs in, they almost catch immediately. It doesn't have enough of those hot coals under there yet. It will in a little bit. You can see there's some building here. So I might put a couple of more pieces, 2 or 3 more pieces of kindling in there, just to kind of give it a boost, right? Because to try to fill in that area. Sometimes you could even, if you really want, you could put in a piece like this, but I'm going to save this for next time. I think just with this here, I'll be in pretty good shape. And I just threw it in there, and it should catch pretty quickly, as long as you don't wait, right? Don't let it go out and then throw it in. But sometimes I'll give it a little boost if I see that that it needs it, and it's caught pretty nicely. But those pieces there will help give it a boost as well. Okay, this is Jimmy P. Until next time.